what's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of TGC Radio, the series that used to be me looking at my most listened to music on a week-to-week basis, but today starts the first official shift to the series becoming a bi-weekly series, looking at my most listened to music in the span of 2 weeks instead, which I have explained before. But not only that, I'm also going to be trying out a bit of a different format for this episode, so let's get into it. So, little side note before we get into it, that new format will be me making more of a list video. I've compiled everything that I feel is worth talking about from my listening habits for the past 2 weeks, and compile them all into a list, and compiling them as well, like combining albums, artists, and songs all together, and we'll talk about it as we go through it. But coming in at number 12, we have specifically the song Page Avenue 10-year version from Story of the Years, Page Avenue 10 Years and Counting. Now, this song specifically is one that I had been coming back to for a while. I knew I liked the song so much when I finally sat down with the entirety of 10 Years and Counting. It's just such a good re-recording of the original Page Avenue, and this song was easily the standout to me, whereas obviously beforehand I would genuinely say the standout was Until the Day I Die, but Page Avenue is such a standout to me now. I love this version of the song, and the original I like more as well now too. And yeah, I like this song a lot. And it's been on there quite a bit since I finally sat down and re-listened to the entire thing later 2023. And it snuck its way in through the past 2 weeks to be in at number 12. And I really don't have much more to say. It's a great rendition of the song. I love the entire 10 Years and Counting record. And you should check out both if you have not already. Number 11, Family Reunion by Blink-182 from the Mark, Tom, and Travis show, which of course is a live album. And Family Reunion, I know what I've said in the past about Blink's very short, ridiculous, juvenile, immature songs. I know. But hear me out. A lot of them aren't very good. Stuff like Built This Pole, Bohemian Rhapsody, hell, even Happy Holidays, You Bastard, etc., etc. You get the idea. My First Punk Song on Boxcar Racer. You get the idea. I'm just naming off all their short songs at this point. No, you get the idea. But Family Reunion is just, the whole idea behind it is to be completely absurd. And in that idea, it just works, I feel. Like, there's something about it that just, like, it makes me laugh. Whereas, like, Tom's Golden Showers in the Golden State, it's like, okay, you got me the first time, but any other time after, not so much. Not so much, But Family Reunion, yeah, it just makes me laugh because of the absolute absurdist nature of it. It's meant to be ridiculous. And it's just Mark singing a bunch of swear words with a catchy vocal melody. And yeah, like, it does work. So yeah, that's where I'll leave that one. I do think this is probably, like, Family Reunion, I think, is genuinely top tier for their, like, really short, dumb little, absurdist, immature, punky songs. I think Family Reunion is top tier for those, but obviously all of those are, like, bottom of the list for Blink's discography. At least in my opinion. But no, yeah, Family Reunion I've been coming back to a good bit, just because, again, it makes me laugh. It still makes me laugh. But number 10, we have No Idea by All Time Low from their 2011 record, Dirty Work. And, as I said before, All Time Low used to be my favorite band, and as I've really started to listen to them less and less as time has gone on, I still very occasionally come back to specific stuff from them, and I don't know what it was. No idea specifically popped into my head at work, and I couldn't get out of it. So I immediately finished up what I was working on, went to the back, and then I just got into my own little corner and just played the song. And yeah, because I don't know what it is. I love the song a lot. Again, I've said it before as well. Like, say what you want about the band and everything that has come out about them, etc. And all valid points you can make, by the way. Completely understand. But say what you want. But I've always been a Dirty Work defender. I like the record a lot. And as I said before, it really does sound like it's a major label, Nothing Personal. And there's still a lot of Nothing Personal in Dirty Work, I feel. And there is still that charm to it. It's not perfect, and it's not as good as Nothing Personal, but it still has a lot of good stuff on there, and I like No Idea a lot. So yeah, just because it was stuck in my head for a while, I would just periodically put it on until it was out of my head. And I like the song a lot, yeah. What can I say? I do want to mention that I completely forgot, like, it completely left my mind that Big Time Rush kind of covered the song. Kind of. Like, they took the idea of the song, but then, obviously, completely changed the instrumentals for the show and whatever record it was on for them. I know they only have 3 as a band. At least as of right now. But, yeah, whatever record it was on. I think it was the second one. Regardless, yeah. They changed the instrumentals entirely, and they also changed a lot of the lyrics as well. So, like, they kind of covered it, but, yeah, that was also something, like I said, that just completely left my brain years and years ago. So, it was very funny to be reminded of that. But I got nothing else. So, number 9, we have Tell Me I'm a Wreck by Every Avenue from their record Picture Perfect. And what can I say? I listened to this record, Picture Perfect, at the start of February this year. Tell Me I'm a Wreck came on around that same time on this random pop-punk emo playlist on Spotify that they had personally made for me. And, like, yeah, I've said it before, I didn't know Every Avenue. I knew Last FM and Spotify kept trying to recommend them to me, and I just kind of ignored them because, like, I had never heard of the band. I'd never heard anyone speak of them before. But yeah, I was just randomly, I think I was doing the dishes, actually, to be honest. And it came on a random playlist, and it's like, oh, this song bangs. This song bangs hard. And it's been, like, I've been obsessed with it ever since. I've cooled down on the listening of it in the last probably month and a half or so. So, yeah. But I've been pretty obsessed with it since I listened to it early February this year. And that's why it's there. That's why it's still there. But number 8, we have Sinners Never Sleep, the record from You Me at 6. And this one is, I kind of just randomly got the urge to listen to You Me at 6 again after having listened to their first record, Take Off Your Colors, last year from my albums project. And yeah, I just want to listen to You Me at 6 again, but I didn't want to listen to the first record again or anything like that. So I was like, okay, well, I know they have Sinners Never Sleep that's got Bite My Tongue on it featuring Ollie Sykes. And I was like, okay, well, I'll check that one out. A lot of people seem to love that record, so I'll check that one out. I listened to the first half of it, and I liked what I heard. I thought, yeah, Bite My Tongue so far, I think I said is probably the highlight of the first half of the record. And, yeah, it goes super hard. But I really don't have much else to say. I listened to the first half of the record for the albums project this year, and I'll get around to finishing it. Next up, number 7, we have Smile and Wave by Saint. And for this specifically, we're going to be talking about two of the songs on the record specifically. For those of you who don't know, catching this video on the off chance you don't, Saint, S-A-I-N-T-E, all caps, is the solo project by the former frontwoman of the band We Are the In Crowd, Tay Jardin. And I love this album a lot. She also has a smaller EP called Bad Summer she released in 2019. I like that as well. I don't like as much as this, but that's a different conversation. Smiling Wave I like a lot, and we're gonna be talking about two songs from it specifically, like I said a moment ago. And that first one is, of course, If You Ever Feel Alone, the closing track of the record. And I love the song so much. Again, kind of like with Tell Me I'm a Wreck and Page Avenue, 10-year version, ever since I listened to all of Smile and Wave, If You Ever Feel Alone, I've just been obsessed with. It's my favorite on the record. I love it so much, and it's just like a constant mainstay in my listening at this point. I can't get sick of it. I love this song. And the second song we're going to be talking about from the record is With or Without Me, which has been coming on mainly through Shuffle and Spotify's DJ and stuff like that. And yeah, also a very solid song for the record. Very solid record. Again, if you have not heard it and you're a fan of some of the stuff that I talk about in TGC Radio, check it out. I really do recommend it. And yeah. Yeah, I like With or Without Me a lot, but not as much as If You Ever Feel Alone. I might start coming back to it a little bit more, because I do really like it. But that's all I've got for that one. Number 6, Spanish love songs. Now, there's quite a bit to talk about with Spanish love songs here, because there's multiple records and just quite a few songs specifically to mention. So first things first, we will mention their song Haunted from No Joy, but specifically the acoustic rendition of the song that they released not too long from recording. And yeah, I've been obsessed with it. I love everything they've done that I've listened to. The only thing I haven't listened to is Giant Sings the Blues, their first record. I'll eventually get to that one, but yeah. But anyway, I love No Joy, and I really vibe with the acoustic rendition of it. And it's just, yeah, I love it. And I already loved Haunted anyway. And yeah, I already loved Haunted anyway. And then I've always been a big sucker for a good acoustic rendition of a song, and this is just so solid. And that's the first thing to mention. And the next thing to mention is just Brave Faces Everyone in general, but specifically the songs Losers and Losers Part 2, which, again, I love both of the songs so much. At this point, I kind of flip-flop. Catch me on a different day, I'll have a different answer, but I flip-flop on which part of Losers I prefer. When I first listened to the record, Losers 2 was easily the standout to me, you know? But then, the more I've come back to Losers Part 1, I'm like, this is so good. I mean, the entire record's great. Should definitely check it out. But, yeah, those two are specifically, and then the title track, Brave Faces Everyone, and Kick as well. And those two are easily, my favorite two from the record, Brave Faces Everyone and Kick. With Kick being up there for literally one of my most played songs in my top 3 of all of last year. So, again, check out the record. Those are the 4 specifically that I've been listening to a lot throughout the past 2 weeks. And then we move on to Schmaltz, where we have 2 songs to consider, and that is Otis, Carl, and The Boy Considers His Haircut. Again, I ended up re-listening to all of Schmaltz, which I listened to in full for the first time. At the start of this year, January. And either sometime last year or maybe a couple years ago even, I did sit down with half of Schmaltz, and then I just didn't come back to it. I don't even know why, because I loved what I heard, but like, okay, I shouldn't say I loved what I heard. I liked what I heard, but it didn't fully click, I guess. So I didn't come back to it until the start of this year, where like it did click, and then I re-listened to it again, so actually take down notes, which I talk about in the April the April album roundup video, which I need to edit because it's done, and I need to edit that. I just have been super lazy. But yeah, Schmaltz, talk about those two songs specifically. I like The Boy Considers His Haircut quite a bit, and then Otis Carl is actually my favorite song on the record. I like that one a lot. But after that, we have their Alkaline Trio cover, We've Had Enough, which I'm actually not familiar with Alkaline Trio, kind of like what I was saying with Every Avenue. I've kind of just ignored Alkaline Trio personally, because growing up in like my formative years, I never really had anyone that knew Alkaline Trio or like liked them and talked about them. So for the longest time, I just always kind of just didn't even consider them, for anything. So, yeah. But now that I'm even more into Blink than now that I'm even more into Blink, and knowing how much Matt has inspired Mark and Tom's songwriting, I'm definitely way more interested in checking them out now. So I'll get to them eventually. But yeah, We've Had Enough. Funny enough, the first time I heard this was, I was looking for just anything Spanish love songs for, to play in like Clone Hero or Yarg, and and yeah, this was the only song, this cover was the only song that was charted by anyone, so it was like, okay. I downloaded that, it was like, yeah, this is cool, this is really fun to play in the game, and it's a great song and a very solid cover. I mean, I can only talk about the cover because I only know the cover, but I like it a lot. So, there we go. But yeah, like I said, I will eventually get into delving into Alkaline Trio's discography. I just have not yet. But then we have number 5, which is 3 Days Grace, which for the 2 weeks here, there's only one thing to talk about. And that is specifically the album 1X, which within the previous 2 weeks is when I ended up recording the very first episode of the new series, TGC Unfiltered, which will be alternating with the now bi-weekly TGC Radio. You'll get an episode of TGC Radio, and then you'll get an episode of TGC Unfiltered. And TGC Unfiltered, just to make it quick, is basically just a full unscripted album review series, basically, where instead of like taking down notes and leaving it for the album roundup videos, which I still mention those albums in those videos and some of the notes and everything, but I'm also going to start doing specific album reviews. And some of those will just be taken from the album roundups I've already done and what I will continue to do. And some I'll do like dedicated videos where like I'm on camera talking everything out, giving all my thoughts in that way. So yeah. So that's when I did that, though. I listened to 1X for the first episode just because I couldn't think of anything that would be a better first episode for me. So I did that, and then specifically as well, I want to mention It's All Over and 1X, the opening and closing tracks of the record, because they're two that I still love a lot. I think they're two standouts on the record, with the title track 1X being my favorite song on the record. So yeah. But again, I have so much I've talked about with them before, so I won't get into them too much. So we move on to number 4, Cassidy McKenzie. And with her, we can talk about, Well, first we'll talk about Leave Me Alone, the song she released a couple years ago. That is just a great bop, and I love it. As I've said so many times before, I started listening to that again more right around the time that she released When I Was You, her third new song for this year. And yeah, I still love Leave Me Alone a lot. I love Turn It Down, Somehow, When I Was You, and the most recent song at the time of recording she's released, I Don't Wanna Lie. All 5 of those are very good, and I'm definitely super interested to see what she's doing, what she's planning on. Whether it's just going to be continually just releasing new music now that she's back to doing that and making videos and stuff like that, or is she planning an album release, or what's happening there? I'm very interested, very excited. But all 5 of those are very good. Leave Me Alone is just a great bop. Somehow and Turn It Down are very just rockin' bangers. When I Was You is a very heartfelt ballad, and I Don't Wanna Lie is this really cool synth-driven song as well. So all have their own kind of different vibe, but they're all very good, and I highly recommend checking them out. But from there we move on to number 3, which is Rush. Now the first thing with Rush we're going to mention is the album Permanent Waves, which I listened to in full for the first time this year, very early this year, though I knew parts of the record very well from my youth. And yeah, I like the record quite a bit. It's a big standout. It's the most I've come back to a Rush record so far this year, and I've been really delving into their stuff this year. But specifically, we're going to mention the biggest 2 songs from the record, Free Will and The Spirit of Radio, which I've been coming back to oh so much. And as soon as The Spirit of Radio comes on, I'm just I permanently have to just immediately scream out that riff. Because yeah, I don't know, that's just a part of my being at this point. And yeah, I love both of those songs a lot. Been coming back to them a lot. But then we'll specifically mention as well the song Distant Early Warning, which is the opening track to Grace Under Pressure, another very solid record. But this was easily my favorite song from the record, actually. I love it so much. That chorus specifically, the synths all sound great as well, and that chorus just hits so hard. At least it does for me. But then we'll move on to Closer to the Heart, which again is just a great song from A Farewell to Kings. And then we'll mention 2112 specifically, which is the, eponymous song, 2112, as well as the opener to side B of the record, the back half of the record, which is A Passage to Bangkok. Both are very solid. I love 2112 and the story and everything they're telling there. And A Passage to Bangkok is just a really fun song about smoking weed. And even if I do not partake, the song is great and fun, and I like it. I like it a lot. But then we move on to number 2, Against the Current. And Against the Current is just going to be a bunch of songs, like with Cassidy McKenzie. We're going to be talking about some of their more recent releases. And that's going to be Blindfolded, which So, their more recent releases post the Fever EP. I don't know what it was. I love the band so much. They're my favorite band at this point. And I don't know. I put off listening to the stuff post Fever for so long. So eventually, just one day, I was just waiting for something. I was just okay, well, I'll check out the stuff I haven't listened to. So I did. And Blindfolded is so good. Blindfolded and Good Guy in quotes, of course, I think are both very good. I think they're the highlight of the most recent releases from the band, with me preferring Blindfolded personally. But both are very good. And then there's also Silent Stranger, which is their most recent song, I want to say, which I still like a lot as well. For me personally, I actually didn't really care for Wildfire that much, to be honest. That one didn't do much for me, but maybe I just need to listen to it more. But on top of all of those, we will also mention one more weekend from In Our Bones, which, again, I love In Our Bones. In Our Bones as a whole really has been just in constant rotation since I re-listened to it in last year. And one more weekend has just been in constant rotation since the start of this year as well. So, yeah, there's that. But then, number one, we have The Main. Now, The Main, I don't really know what exactly to say with The Main, to be honest. It's like I said in the album roundup video, which you'll hear at some point, right? But, The Main's a weird band that, like, I like them a lot. But whenever I want to talk about them, I just can never find the words, you know? But we'll start off with Can't Stop, Won't Stop, because I did revisit Can't Stop, Won't Stop in April. And I like it a lot. It's a very solid debut record, and it's a neon pop punk record, kind of. I don't even think it's fully neon pop punk, to be honest. But regardless, it's a neon pop punk record that I think holds up incredibly well. And I was coming back to the opening track, Everything I Asked For, a lot. I mean, a lot. It's been in constant rotation. And it still is. But yeah, I've been listening to that one quite a bit. Girls Do What They Want, I listened to a good bit. As well as I Must Be Dreaming, Into Your Arms, and We All Roll Along. And yeah, like I said, it's just a very solid record. It holds up really well, I think. And I love it a lot. But as well as that, I did listen to a good few times the song from Lovely Little Lonely, Black Butterflies and Deja Vu. Which, yeah, again, as well, I like that song quite a bit. And that song randomly popping up on like a random playlist or something is actually the reason why I wanted to revisit Can't Stop, Won't Stop. And see if I could actually take down notes and find a way to describe it, you know? Because I couldn't do that when I listened to it for the first time last year. So, yeah, I wanted to see if I could do that. And I did, but, yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. It's just so weird to me. Like, I can't ever find the way to describe how I feel about The Main. And I don't know. But, yeah, no, that was that. That was everything I wanted to talk about specifically for TGC Radio. A bit of a new format. We'll see how it goes and how I edit it together. And that was episode 22 of TGC Radio, talking about my most listened to music from April 26th through May 9th, 2024. I also should have mentioned that at the start of the video like I normally do, and I didn't. But that's the dates we were looking at. You'll see it on screen. And regardless, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like, comment down below, share on social media, do that good stuff. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye, guys.